Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cop Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are having a good evening wherever we are around the world. Apologies for the green screen. You can actually see the screen for once tonight. For some reason, StreamYard, it's not working. Yeah, a few technical difficulties for the start of the stream. But, of course, as you can see by the thumbnail and the title, we are going to be talking about Bradley Barcola. Of course, there's been some news coming out of France in regards to the French winger, which is very exciting. But also, what does it mean for other potential targets? We will talk about that a bit later on, of course. But again, let me know how all of you are in the comments down below. If you are new around here, please do hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and of course, hit that notification bell as well, because it will let you know when we do go live, of course. But like I said, we are going to talk and discuss Bradley Barcola, but not only him. Of course, we are going to talk about other Liverpool news as well this evening. Again, we're going to discuss Harvey Elliott, potential move to RB Leipzig as well. And also, to kickstart the show, we're going to talk and discuss more on Darwin Núñez. Now, obviously, we've been live already once today discussing Darwin, of course, but we've now got the Here We Go from Fabrizio Romano, as you guys can see on screen, as it does say, breaking Darwin Núñez to Al Hilal. Here we go. Verbal agreement has been completed between all parties. 53 million euros fixed fee plus add-ons to Liverpool, as revealed today, on a 3-year deal for Núñez. Núñez says yes, and Inzaghi only wanted him. Medical next. Exclusive story confirmed. So yeah, Darwin Núñez is officially gone. He's no longer a Liverpool player, which sounds a bit mental, doesn't it? You know, that Darwin Núñez is not going to be a Liverpool player. You know, look, I think we mentioned earlier on, didn't we, on how big of an impact he has had at the football club. Of course, you know, he's given everything at the football club. Look, it hasn't worked out. Let's not lie about it. Like, look, I think the player, I think all of us thought that Liverpool were going to go and sign, and Liverpool hoped that they would sign from Benfica. It sadly didn't work out that way, but still, on an overall perspective, he's given his 100% to the football club. He's got a Premier League winners medal as well to obviously walk away from it. So it looks pretty decent, and the fact that Liverpool have got quite a decent fee for him as well, I think is a very, very good deal all round. I think Liverpool have done very well to again get the type of money that we have done, but I honestly think at the moment as well, at the present moment in time, I think it's a really, really good deal for Liverpool as well, and as well with Al Hilal. Of course, we now know as well he'll fly out to Germany most likely tomorrow. It's already been confirmed he will be at the AXA training ground now tomorrow to say goodbye to everyone, which again will be pretty emotional, I think, for everyone at the football club. Because again, I think Mo, Virgil as well, I think they love Darwin Núñez and have a really high opinion of him, which again I think just goes to show the likeness then of Darwin Núñez in the camp for Liverpool. But still, I think on an overall perspective, I think it'll be great for him. And plus, like I said earlier on, he could 100% come back to Europe, couldn't he? And of course, I think he will end up doing that as well. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments about Darwin Núñez as well. But Calzin saying he's gone. Yes, he is gone. I think it's a decent move for him. We all know his preference was to stay in Europe. I think the Napoli move, when that broke down, I think Darwin got a bit down about that, because I think everybody around the Núñez camp was like, yeah, he wants to go to Napoli and obviously stay in the Serie A. But I think like for the Saudi Pro League reports as well suggesting he's going to be on £400,000 per week, which is a very good deal for Darwin Núñez, you know, and for him and his family. So 3-year contract, 400 grand a week. Look, I think, you know, Darwin's going to be set, isn't he? But like we mentioned though in the video earlier on, I wonder how it will affect his Club World Cup, his World Cup availability, because again, we look at it and go, some managers don't tend to like players that go to the Saudi Pro League. Again, I don't know whether or not Bielsa would look at that and go, oh, maybe we don't want to pick Darwin, but I think Darwin's pretty much the starting striker, isn't he, for Uruguay? So I think, look, when you look at that, I think it's a good move, all round anyway. But moving on then to Harvey Elliott, of course, we're going to discuss Harvey, of course, potentially getting his move to RB Leipzig. We spoke about it yesterday on the channel, of course, speaking about David Ornstein's report into Harvey Elliott and RB Leipzig. Of course, Leipzig looking for a replacement at the moment for Xavi Simons, who is going to go and leave to most likely join Chelsea. There are other teams, of course, interested. I think Bayern Munich still interested. I think Arsenal and even Spurs taking a look at Xavi Simons. But again, there's been reports by Fabrizio Romano for the last week and a half that he was going to go and join Chelsea. But now, of course, even Fabrizio Romano today coming out with a suggestion of Harvey Elliott and RB Leipzig have already started discussion contract terms with Harvey Elliott as a priority target to replace Xavi Simons. Discussions ongoing, waiting to understand players' decision, which that's again going to be the huge thing in this scenario, because at the moment everyone is suggesting that Harvey Elliott could be looking for a Premier League move if he does end up staying. But again, at RB Leipzig, he's going to become instantly, the starter out there. We mentioned it yesterday, didn't we, that most likely Harvey is going to be probably obviously he's going to be the starter for RB Leipzig. There's no questions about that. But of course, could RB Leipzig then build that team around Harvey Elliott and really push for the Bundesliga? Because you look at it the last couple of years, of course, they've had players leaving. And I think they've not really taken that next step up that everybody thought they would take. I think, of course, they've had good players come through the ranks. Of course, Kanate, obviously Sesko going to United now. Obviously, they've got Luke Jaber as well. But again, I don't think Leipzig have really taken that progressive push into what people thought Leipzig would become. I think everyone, when it was Bayern Munich and Dortmund fighting for the title now and again, I think everybody thought that Leipzig would become that third team, and they haven't. Of course, now it's become Bayer Leverkusen, who probably over the last few years have become the second team in Germany, behind Bayern Munich. But still, I think for the league itself, to have teams like RB Leipzig, like Dortmund, and even like smaller teams like Wolfsburg and other teams fighting around the top four, I think it's very good in general just for the league itself. But I think for Leipzig, they'll want to replace the quality levels with Harvey Elliott. And I think, look, for me, I do think Harvey could do very well out there. And I think personally that he would be a massive success in Germany. I really do. I think the only thing for Liverpool, on the Liverpool side of things, of course, he's not going to succeed here because, again, Liverpool have Florian Wirtz, Liverpool have Dom Szoboszlai, we got Curtis Jones as well that can play in the number 10 role. And quite clearly, Harvey Elliott's not a part of Arne Slot's plans then, really, in terms of the number 10 position, and hasn't really favoured him since he picked up that broken ankle, wasn't it? Back in pre-season last year. He did miss a massive amount of time. But before that, Harvey was pretty much starting every single pre-season game. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe it was something to do with attitude, maybe, during the rehabilitation. Of course, Harvey then really didn't get much of an opportunity throughout the season. And if he was being used, he was being used in fill positions. Like a couple of times he'd be playing in a 10 role, a couple of times he'd be playing a right wing. Sometimes he would play as an 8 as well, alongside the 6. So I think for Harvey, the best thing for him would be to go to a team where you are going to be the main man. And the one thing I'd also say to it as well, and I wouldn't be surprised, is if RB Leipzig are in the race for him, if RB Leipzig do make their full-on approach for him, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if a team like West Ham came from him. We had that report, didn't we, 3 weeks ago, suggesting that West Ham was in the race for Harvey Elliott alongside them trying to get Tyler Morton. We never really saw that in terms of the links, but still, I think in an overall perspective, I wouldn't be surprised if West Ham did come in for Harvey Elliott, because again, I think he's a very good Premier League capable attacking midfielder. But is he a Liverpool, pushing a Florian Wirtz level? Again, I don't think he is that at the moment. He needs to go to a team where, again, he will flourish and will be the main guy. And again, even Spurs, like a team like Spurs, I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet as well. But let me know your guys' thoughts, of course, on Harvey Elliott and where you think he'll end up going. Because I think for me, Leipzig does make a lot of sense. It really does. But Luke Yeager possible deal in the future if they do us a solid as well. Obviously, big up McIndo as well. They will never challenge just the Brighton of Germany. Who's this? Leipzig. Look, Leipzig. Was it 2017 or 2018 that they really pushed for the title and never really got there? I think that's the only season that they really have pushed. But then, to be fair, even in that season, they fell off completely to a certain level. Anyway, our levels have gone up a level now. Sadly, not at the required quality as well. Yeah, and that's the unfortunate part about Harvey as well. That's the sad truth at the moment, isn't it? Is the fact that Harvey Elliott, I think, in a lot of people's minds, a couple of weeks ago, there was question marks like, could we use Harvey as a backup role for Mo potentially as well? But I think the way the team is going, the way that I think the Premier League is going as well, when we talk about teams on the transition and just it's probably going to be a bit more counter-attack this year in the Premier League. I think Arsenal are trying to build up like that. City especially are trying to build up like that as well. So in my honest opinion, I think Harvey going to a league that's going to be a bit more, not slower, but a bit more technical. I think that would probably be better for him. But I think, for me, I think he'll 100% move on. And when, and if, Harvey Elliott or Liverpool do sell Harvey Elliott, then Liverpool could be pretty much on evens then for the transfer window, as things stand anyway, because of course we've sold Diaz, we've sold Nunes now, and if we were to sell Harvey Elliott for £50 million, that could be an absolute belter of a move for Liverpool as well. But Carl says Elliott is so smaller but so slow as well. Yeah, he is, unfortunately. He lived all our dreams. He's a Premier League winner with a boyhood club. Can never take that away from him. No, exactly. Technically, is he a two-time Premier League winner? Yeah, is he a two-time Premier League winner? I can't quite remember. Did he win it in 2019? I think he did, didn't he? Or he got at least a medal. So yeah, two-time Premier League winner. It's not bad, is it? Of course, could have been a Champions League winner as well if he'd won it in Paris, unfortunately. But two-time Premier League winner. But anyway, we'll move on then, and we'll talk then about the big story, or the story that you guys are here for, and that is Bradley Barcola. Now, what a story it currently is at the moment, but this is taken from Anfield Index. Sorry, that's because I'm looking at McKendall's name. Anfield Sector, and this did come out, of course, from reports in France, and it does say big breaking: Liverpool want to sign Bradley Barcola. Liverpool have been following the player for a long time and could take advantage of this loyalty to persuade the player for the club. For the moment, not a seller. It will be necessary to be very convincing. Of course, it is translated from French in that regard, of course, and that is the breaking news for Bradley Barcola, is that Liverpool want to sign Bradley Barcola. Now, again, we do have a lot to talk about this as well, because there is a fair old bit. So, Fabrizio Romano as well. I want to quickly get up the thing that I retweeted as well, because it is quite huge as well. So, what has been said on the Bradley Barcola situation is that if Newcastle don't open the doors to sell Alexander Isak, Bradley Barcola is the dream winger target initially at Liverpool. Liverpool won't sign both. Priority remains with Alexander Isak. That is coming from Fabrizio Romano, as you guys can see. But there, look, I think that's huge news. I really do. I think, look, Liverpool need the replacement for Luis Diaz. Of course, I personally think that replacement we already have at the football club. Rio Ngamoa, I think his pre-season has been electric. I think when we talk about young players nowadays, and probably back 10, 15 years ago, if somebody said, oh, we got a 16-year-old breaking through the team, you send him out on loan and see what happens elsewhere. But nowadays, of course, you've got the players that have broken through, for example, like a Barcelona, like Pedri, like Gavi, and even Lamine Yamal. Now Liverpool could be doing that now with this talented boy. Of course, we've seen it back, in 13, 14, when Raheem Sterling finally broke through the first team and become amazing for Liverpool. And we had that front three of obviously Suarez, Sturridge, and Sterling. But this for Bradley Barcola would be huge. I said it to you guys a couple of weeks ago. I would love Liverpool to go and get Bradley Barcola as a Luis Diaz replacement. But it's that sense now that if we cannot get Alexander Isak, we will then go all in for Bradley Barcola. And the quick things, of course, to discuss about the Bradley Barcola situation is as simple as this. And I'll quickly get up a few points as well. But what we currently know at the minute, and obviously taking a look at things at the moment, Liverpool very much like Bradley Barcola. Liverpool have scouted him. They've scouted him while he was at Lyon. Liverpool were, I think, in the race as well to sign him back last year, or back in 2023, when Liverpool were very interested. Of course, PSG ended up getting him. And then, of course, Liverpool lost out in that race. But again, there's reports coming out as well that Liverpool have contacted PSG over the last couple of days, suggesting their interest in him as well, which is no surprise because, again, of course, Liverpool would have done their due diligence in terms of getting in, a replacement for Luis Diaz. But taking a look now, as they say, PSG do not want to sell it at the moment, but PSG have also added €100 million price tag to Bradley Barcola. Bradley Barcola is aware of Liverpool's interest for a very long time. Barcola hasn't indicated at the moment that he does want to leave PSG. It seems unlikely that he will want to leave PSG at the moment, but this transfer window, where we've seen impossible moves happen, is currently another twist in the saga. That's what's being reported right now. So a bit interesting for Barcola. Look, for me, I'd love him at Liverpool. I absolutely would. I think he'd be amazing for us as well. But I also want to quickly get up what James Pearce said as well, taken from Anfield sector as well, which does put a little bit of a downer on it, where it does say that Liverpool rate 22-year-old Bradley Barcola highly, but pursuing somebody with his profile would act as a pathway blocker for the talented teenager Rio Ngamoa, who has enjoyed an outstanding preseason for Arne Slot's side. Liverpool don't want to do anything that will impact Ngamoa's progress. They also have Cody Gakpo, who is expected to be a regular on the left side of Slot's attack as well. So again, it's that theory of Liverpool do not want to be in the way of Rio Ngamoa, because Liverpool believe Rio Ngamoa can become that special talent that we think he'll be. And I think, look, when you do look at it, of course, Barcola around 23, 24 would be in that same age bracket, really, that Rio Ngamoa is. But in also saying that, I do think if there was something that did suggest that a price could be lowered for it, I know that, again, Fabrizio Romano mentioned that it will not be both. It will only be Isak or Bradley Barcola. I think for me personally, I think Liverpool, of course, would still be in the race for Bradley Barcola if something was to negotiate in terms of the price coming down. But I think as of things right now, I think he's going to stay at PSG. I think I do think this is a little bit of a ploy from Liverpool. When we talk about Liverpool having the mind games in certain situations, like again, Paul Joyce earlier on, when he did the report speaking about Nunes, of course, mentioned in terms of the players that Liverpool are looking to sign. And I quickly try and see if I can find it now. As he says, but yeah, in terms of just speaking about the transfers, he does say that Mark Gahey has also entered the final year of his contract at Crystal Palace, and Liverpool may follow up on their interest depending on the asking price. There's a strong interest in Parma's 18-year-old centre-back Giovanni Leon, who is also wanted by Inter Milan. Isak, of course, has been the saga of the summer, and the next installment of the story cannot be far away. So even with that, I think the Bradley Barcola situation is very much a ploy, or at least Liverpool showing their hand in terms of going, oh, well, okay, well, if you take forever for Alexander Isak, we can go and sign Bradley Barcola, who can play on the right, can play on the left as well, and then we could go and potentially find then a backup then for Hugo Ekitike. But look, for me, in my honest opinion, and I know people have like already said on social media they would prefer Barcola over Alexander Isak. I'm the opposite in that regard. I personally want Alexander Isak no matter what. But also, I personally look at it and also go, well, Bradley Barcola would be an amazing signing for Liverpool. He absolutely would be as well. But look, I do think if, of course, maybe it might not be this summer, but even next summer, if there's a potential option to have, and hold the interest in Bradley Barcola, I think, look, Liverpool will 100% be there. I have no doubts about that because, again, Liverpool have scouted him so much, I think, over the last 2-3 years that it could absolutely be an option for us. But look, I do think it will be an interesting couple of weeks. Of course, we are waiting at the moment for Newcastle to finally sort their shit out. I'm not gonna hide by saying that anyway. But at the moment, Newcastle can't even sign a centre half, let alone anything else really. To get, obviously, because it will be interesting now, I think, because of course, obviously, the Newcastle squad are back together. They're obviously in Newcastle. If you read the reports today of obviously them having like a family day at Newcastle's training ground, which if that's true, then that's that's definitely the thing to keep Alexander Isak staying at the football club. But also saying that, of course, Isak did turn up late. They did say or did command him then really to obviously arrive late in the day. Of course, obviously Sky Sports was straight away on it. Of course, having Isak drive into the training facility. And look, there's reports, I think, obviously there's been a few people say that Alexander Isak is going to officially put in a transfer request. He's already done that, and when people reported earlier on, and I was like, he has already ended in a transfer request. Him telling Newcastle, like, look, I'm looking at other football clubs. That's a transfer request. It's not, saying like, oh yeah, I'm just going to have a nice stroll around Liverpool and decide I'm going to join here. Like, no, he's told Newcastle he wants to go. And look, it might take until the end of the window to sort things out. It might take right up until the end of the window, but we will be there for it, absolutely, 100%. But at the moment, I would turn around and say, and I still think Isak will join Liverpool. I absolutely do. But the question is, who do Newcastle go in and get as a replacement? I think it will be Jackson. At the moment, what's Ricky chatting? Told you told me what? Like, what about Barcola? Look, Barcola is a very good player. All right, bold fella. Can't lie, Newcastle. You sausage to give up on Isak. As well, it's not a formal transfer request. It's not a formal transfer request, but still, a transfer request at this point now would be, it doesn't mean anything because everybody knows he wants to leave. Because like right now, what is Newcastle's front three at the start of the season? They play Villa in, well, obviously the league starts in like 9 days time or whatever it does, but still they play Villa at 12:30 away from home, and then they got us then at home then the following week. Like that's a very very tough start for the season, and they're not going to have a striker unless they hurry things up. But yeah. Barcola news. It wasn't shy, but yeah, it wasn't as fulfilled, I think, as everybody was hoping for. It does mean everything. It's if it's not formal, he misses out. Or does it then? But even still, like everyone knows he's out, wants to leave. It will be really interesting though, because I think I can't remember who it was. Was it Craig Hope or Keith? I think it was Craig Hope today said that today was the deciding factor of whether or not Isak's going to be training with the Newcastle teammates now. After a meeting with Eddie Howe, again, tomorrow will be interesting. But I also look at it and go, could you imagine that he just doesn't turn up anymore? Like that would be pretty funny if he did end up doing that. But look. I personally think he'll be a Liverpool player. I don't doubt that for a second. I back you sausage, Jesus Christ. McKindo, batter him. This is the most boring saga ever. Like I just hand over Isak over. He clearly wants out. He wants out, but I think the thing that's also interesting is that Newcastle, look. I personally think now they will get Nicholas Jackson in. And I think they'll get Wieser in, and that will be their two that they want. But Paul Joyce said something very, very weird earlier on when he was like, "Oh, Liverpool, in my opinion, won't go up to 150 million," which I don't think Liverpool will. But then he started talking about that Liverpool wouldn't want to do anything any bit down from that either. So that 110 million pound bid that went in. Like we know for a fact that's not the most Liverpool can offer. Like my honest opinion is Liverpool now with the sales of Diaz, sale of Nunez, Harvey Elliott also to be sold. Like Liverpool will want to buy Isak for 130 million pounds or 135 million pounds, somewhere around that. I think obviously it would be like what 100 let's say it's 115, 120 million up front, and then the rest in add-ons. That's what I think will happen. But even though we're all excited about Alexander Isak potentially joining Liverpool, I also don't want the whole saga or the whole transfer overtaking what we also need. Like, don't get us wrong, Liverpool also need a centre-half. Like, that's not something that we can just, like we mentioned earlier on, didn't we? In terms of, we can't just go, well, we're fine with the 4 centre, or like, we're fine with 3 centre-halves and Endo. We seen that last time we won the league. We sold Dejan Lovren and we were like, oh yeah, no, we're sound with Van Dijk, Matip and Joe Gomez. Yeah, no, we're completely fine. And then, yeah, look what happened. We ended up literally playing James Milner and Jordan Henderson at centre-back for like 2-3 games. Like, don't take me back to 2021. Like, don't. It was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous for us. And yeah, just sign a centre half Liverpool, and I'd be very much happy and very much grateful. But of course, we may end up doing a centre back show because, of course, obviously Paul Joyce is bringing out names. Obviously, that centre half from Italy as well is also obviously in the main discussion at the moment, alongside Mark Gahey. Nathan Collins as well, I think, was also mentioned in terms of players that Liverpool like, but obviously Nathan Collins at the minute is the current captain, I think, of Brentford, and of course just signed a new contract as well, so that's a deal that's going to be a bit impossible to end up doing as well. So I think for me it would be interesting to know what centre halves we're going to go for, really. Think we should sign Sesko and play him centre half. No, what we should do, Ben, is sign him and then give him to Newcastle and go, there you go, go to Newcastle. That's what we should do. We should just get Mbappe No, like well past the Kylian Mbappe train now. Let's see if Klavan wants to return and come out of retirement as well. Well, to be fair, he does play sometimes for the Liverpool legend, so I think that's all you got to do is give him a call, or even call Dejan Lovren back. Where is he playing right now? Because I know he was playing for Lyon, but hang on a minute, is he still playing for Lyon, or is he retired? There's no way he's retired, surely. Hang on a minute, chat. Dejan Lovren. Where are you playing? Of course it doesn't tell me. It's on Transfer Market. Where is he currently playing? He's currently being transferred to... Oh, he's playing in Greece. Oh, there we go. He's playing in Greece. No, yeah, he was at Lyon. Lyon bought him from Zenit for 2 million euros. And then, yeah, he's gone for a free transfer and he plays for PAOK. That's who he's currently playing for. So, yeah, bring him back. But Lyon, I think, he's not playing for Lyon anymore. But looking at it, to be fair, like, again, he was bought from Lyon to go to Southampton for 10 million euros. Then we bought him for 25 million euros and then sold him for only 12. Jesus. Degsy Lovren. Yeah, absolutely. Give Stephen Colker and Ozanka back a run out to... Jesus Christ. The fact that Stephen Colker only played 5 games for Liverpool, or like 4 games for Liverpool, and every single game was at striker. Like, there was no other way that he played for Liverpool Football Club. It was only at striker. Which, yeah, it's quite funny and ironic anyway. But look, I think we're going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Big thank you for everyone for tuning in to tonight's show. Of course, we are going to have a special coming up on the channel, probably, what day is it? Wednesday, probably tomorrow or Friday. It's most likely to be Friday, to be fair. We're going to do a video on discussing Rio and Gamoa. It's a little bit of a pre-season video for you guys. It's going to be released on Friday, so hopefully you guys will be tuning into that if I get the editing sorted out in that. But as who was the lad we bought in? Ben Davies. That was the lad. Played 0 games. Got half an hour in Stuttgart in pre-season for Liverpool. And that was about it. That was his Liverpool career. Got sold for, what was it, 4 million, something like that, to Rangers, where I think Rangers fans absolutely hated him because he was terrible. But yeah. No, you're thinking of the wrong one, Cal. Like, not Ben Davies. That's Ben Davies. But yeah, no. I think of the wrong Davies, unfortunately, mate. But look. Hopefully you guys will have a good rest of your night. Anyway, look, we will be back tomorrow probably for another episode on the channel. But probably if there is any news, of course, obviously Isaac News will be live for it anyway. But yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode, of course. And let me know your guys' thoughts on all the stories we've spoken about in terms of obviously Darwin Núñez, Barcola, and Harvey Elliott. And yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts on who you think will Liverpool sign. Do you think we'll get Isaac, or do you think we'll get Barcola? Anyway, but until next time, that's going to be it from me. I've been Connor from the COP Council. I'll see you guys a bit later on. Ta-ra.